Your Honor, we need to put an end to the
Harris, I bid you be silent. Now, you sit there. Mary Ward, how came you to this tournament? Mr. Proctor ever threatened your position?
No, sir.
Has he ever?
No, sir.
Then you mean to tell me that you sat to my court, callous and blind, and you people would pay by your evidence? Answer me.
I did, sir.
But you are God.
I, sir.
I can tell you this. You're either lying in court or you are lying now, and in either case you have committed perjury and you will go to jail. You cannot let me say you lied.
I cannot lie anymore. I am with God. I am with God.
Sit you down, gentlemen. Your friend Mary Ward has given us a position. In which case she says she never saw no familiar spirits, nor any manifest of the devil or the devil's agents. A quick confession of your wizard. Abigail Williams, Rob. Is there any truth?
No, sir.
Children, will either of you change positions now, or do you force me to part question?
I have not to change, sir. She lies.
You still go on with this?
I, sir.
In Poppet, you discovered Mr. Pocket times. Mary Ward claimed that he sat beside her and witnessed her and saw how she herself suffered even into the closing. What said to that?
It is not, sir.
While you worked for Mr. Poppet, did you ever see Poppet in that house?
Cody Proctor always kept poppets.
Your Honor, my wife never kept it. Mary Warren confesses that it was her poppet.
You are charged with Abigail Williams with a marvelous plot to murder. Do you understand?
I do, sir. I believe that she means to murder.
This child murdered her wife.
And he's not a child, sir. Mary, now tell the governor how you danced there in the woods.
What is this thing?
Mr. Proctor.
Abigail led the girls into the woods, Your Honor, and they have danced there naked. Your Honor, this is Mr. Paris discovered them dancing there in the dead of night. There's a child, she is.
Paris.
I can only say, sir, I never found him naked. And this man,
You found them dancing in the woods. Abigail.
Your Excellency, when I first arrived in Paris, Mr. Paris told me that.
Do you deny Mr. Paris?
I do not, sir, but I never found him naked.
But she has danced.
Aye, sir.
You say you never saw no spirits, Mary. Were never threatened or afflicted by any manifest of the devil.
No, sir.
And yet, when people accused of witchery would confront you in court, you would faint, saying their spirits came out of their bodies and children.
That were pretense, sir.
Then can you pretend to faint now?
Now?
Aye, for turn yourself cold, for no hurt witches is attacking you, for no one's accusing you of witchcraft, so lay person the fate. Fate!
Thanks.
Aye, heard you say for so many times before.
I cannot fake now, sir.
Can you not pretend it?
Your Honor, this is a trick.
It's not a trick. I used to faint because I thought I saw spirits.
How could you think you saw them unless you saw them?
I don't know how I did, but I did. I heard the other girls screaming, Your Honor. You seemed to believe them, and they were only sport in the beginning, Mr. Danforth. But then the whole world cried spirits, and I promise you, Mr. Danforth, I only thought I saw them, but I did not.
Surely, Your Excellency, won't be taken back by this simple lie.
Abigail Williams, I bid you now, search your heart. Beware of the child. God's vengeance is terrible on those who take life without a cause. Is it possible that the spirits you have seen are illusion only? Some deception that may cross your mind?
I have been hurt, Mr. Danforth. I have seen my blood running out. I have been near to murdered every day because I have done my duty pointing out the devil's people. And this is my reward? To be mistrusted, denied, questioned, like a
Child, I do not
Let you beware, Mr. Danforth. Think it be so mighty that the power of hell may not turn your wits? Beware of it. There's...
What is it, child?
I know not. A cold wind has come.
I freeze.
They're pretending.
You said the shadow of
Lord, save me! I freeze, I freeze! I don't do that!
Mary Warren, do you witch her? You are a lecher.
Aye, sir. She will deny it, but you will believe me. A man will not cast away his good name. Surely you know this.
What time? In what place?
The proper place where my beasts are bedded. She used to serve me in my house, sir, and, well, she thought to dance with me on my wife's grave, and, well, she might. My wife, my dear good wife, she took this girl soon after, and she put her on the high road. Excellency, forgive me. She thought to dance with me on my wife's grave, and, well, she might, but I thought it was soft. God help me, I loved her. But it is vengeance, and surely you must see it, sir. My wife is innocent, except she know a whore when she see one.
Did I ever see this?
If I must answer that, sir, I will leave, and I will not come back
She does
again.
not deny it, Mr. Danforth. She does not deny it.
You will remain where you are. Sit you down. Mr. Paris, go into the court and bring your wife Proctor. Mr. Paris, and tell her not one word of what has been spoken here. Your wife, you say, is an honest woman.
Aye, sir. In her life, there are them that cannot sing, and them that cannot weep. My wife has never lied.
Good then. Hold. No one in this room speak a word or raise a gesture. Enter. Listen, woman. Look at me, Owen, not at your husband, in my eyes only.
Good sir.
We are given to understand that at one point you dismissed your servant, Abigail Williams.
That is true, sir.
For what cause did you dismiss her? You will look at me only and not at your husband. Why have you dismissed Abigail Williams?
She dissatisfied me and my husband.
In what way dissatisfied?
She were.
Woman, look at me. Was she slovenly? Lazy? What disturbance did she cause?
Your Honor, in that time I was sick, and my husband, he's a good and righteous man. He is never drunk as some are, nor wasting his time, but he's always at his work. But in my sickness, you see, I was a long time sick after my last baby. I thought I saw him somewhat turning from me. Oh, and this girl!
At me!
I, sir, Abigail Williams, I came to think he fancied her. So when I lost my wits, I think I set her out on the high road.
Your husband, did he indeed turn for you?
My husband is a goodly man, sir, I
Look
promise.
at me. To your own knowledge, has John Proctor ever committed the crime of lechery?
Just let me, please.
Answer my question. Is your husband a lecher?
No, sir.
No, Elizabeth, please. Elizabeth.
She has spoken. Remove her.
Elizabeth, I confess it.
Oh,
Not only to save my name.
Your Honor, this is a natural light of hell. I beg you stop now before another's contempt.
She spoke nothing of lechery, and this man...
I believe it! I cannot turn my face from it no more. This girl has always struck me false.
God, it's me.
What is it, child? Girls,
It's
why...
a game and after.
Where?
Why did you come, yellow bird?
What bird? I see no bird.
My face, God made my face. You cannot want to tear my face. That means a deadly sin, Mary. Oh, Mary, it's a black art to change your shape. No, I cannot. No, it's God's work I do. I'm here.
Oh, she's stretching out.
Lies.
Mary, please don't hurt me. I'm not hurting her.
Why does she see this vision?
She sees nothing. She sees nothing. Abby, you mustn't. Abby, you mustn't. I'm here. Right here. I'm here. Right here.
Warren, draw your spirit out of them.
Mr. Danforth. Mr. Danforth.
Have you compacted with the devil? Have you?
Never.
Why can they only repeat you? Give me a whip, I'll stop it!
Please, please. Abby, stop it. Abby, stop it. Stop it.
A while ago you were afflicted. It seems now you afflict others. From where do you draw this power?
I have no power.
Very goddamn
yourself. You will confess or you will hang.
Remember the angel Raphael. Do what is
The wings! Her wings are spreading! No, Mary, please, don't! No!
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
What?
You are the devil's man!
Praise God.
I will not hurt you! I love God! I love God!
Mary, what did you do that devil's work?
He come to me by night and wake me every day. The sun!
Devil's work become like a book.
My name! You want my name? I'll murder you, he says in my ravens. Let's go and overthrow the court, he says.
Mr. Hale!
He wakes me every night. His eyes like cold, his fingers claw my neck, and I sigh!
The child's gone wild.
No! I love God. I praise God, I bless God. Abby, I'll never hurt you no more.
What are you? You are combined with the Antichrist, are you not? I have seen your power. You will not deny.
This is not witchcraft. Those girls are frauds. You condemn an honest
I
man.
will have nothing from you, Mr. Hale. Do you confess yourself befouled with hell? Or do you keep that black alliance yet? What say you?
I say a fire! A fire is burning. And I hear the boot of Lucifer. I see his filthy face. And it is my face, as it is all of yours. And we will burn together.
Marshal, take it.
I denounce the Crucible. That's what it's for.
This is ridiculous. You are all burning in hell.
Your Honor, this is crazy. Mr. Paris, I bid you be silent. Sit you down, Mr. Proctor. You sit there. Mary Ward, how came you to this turnabout? Has Mr. Proctor threatened you for this deposition?
No, sir.
Has he ever threatened you?
No, sir.
Then you mean to tell me that you sat in my court callously lying when you knew people would hang by your evidence? Answer me.
I, sir.
But you are with God now.
I, sir.
I will tell you this. You are either lying in the court or you are lying now, and in either case you have committed perjury and you will go to jail for it. You cannot lightly say you lied to her.
I cannot lie no more. I am with God. I am with God.
Sit you down, children. Your friend Mary Warren has given us a deposition. She says she never saw no familiar spirits, nor any manifest of the devil. A quick confession will go easier with you. Abigail Williams, rise. Is there any truth in this?
No, sir.
Children, will either of you change your positions now, or do you force me to hard questioning?
I have not to change, sir. She lies.
You would still go on with this?
I, sir.
A poppet were discovered in Mr. Proctor's house. Mary Warren claims that you sat beside her in the court and witnessed her make it, and saw how she herself stuck her needle into it for safekeeping. What say you to that?
It is a lie, sir.
While you worked for Mr. Proctor, did he ever make poppets?
Cody Proctor always made puppets.
Your Honor, my wife never had any poppets. Mary Warren confesses it was her puppet.
You are charging Abigail Williams with a marvelous cool plot to murder. Do you understand that?
I do, sir. I believe that just she means to murder.
This child would murder your wife.
It is not a child, sir. Mary, now tell the governor how you danced there in the woods.
What is this dancing?
Mr. Proctor.
Abigail led the girls into the woods, Your Honor, and they have danced there naked.
Your
There's
Honor.
the child she is.
Mr. Paris,
Your Honor, this is crazy.
Mr. Paris discovered them dancing there in the dead of night. There's the child she is.
Your Honor, I can only say I never found them naked. And this man is...
you saw Abigail dancing in the woods.
I did, sir, but... Excellency, when I first arrived from Beverly, Mr. Paris told me that.
Do you deny it, Mr. Paris?
I do not, sir, but I never found him naked.
But she has danced.
Aye, sir.
You say you never saw no spirits, Mary. Were never threatened or afflicted by any manifest of the devil or the devil's agents.
No, sir.
And yet, when people accused of witchery confronted you in court, You would faint, saying their spirits came out of their bodies and choked.
That were pretense, sir.
Then can you pretend to faint now?
Now?
Aye. For turn yourself cold. There's no witches attacking you in this courtroom, for none accusing you of witchcraft. So turn yourself cold. Lay pretend to faint. Faint!
Faint?
Aye. Prove to us how you proved so many times before.
I cannot faint now.
Your Honor, pretend. Trick the blind, the court.
It's not a trick. I thought I saw spirits.
How could you think you saw them unless you saw them?
I don't know how I did. I heard the other girls crying. Your Honor, you seem to believe them, and I will only swear. The whole world cried spirits, and I promise you, Mr. Danforth, I only thought I saw them. I did not.
Surely your excellency won't be taken back by this simple lie.
Abigail Williams, I bid you search your heart and beware of it. God's vengeance is terrible on those who take life without cause. Is it possible that the spirits you have seen are illusion, some deception that may cross your mind?
I have been hurt, Mr. Danforth. I have seen my blood running out. I have been near to murdered every day because I've done my duty pointing out the devil's people. And this is my reward? To be mistrusted, denied, questioned?
Child, I do not
Let
mistrust.
you beware. Mr. Danforth, think me so mighty that the power of hell may not turn your wits? Beware of it. There is,
What is it, child?
I know not, a cold wind has come. Abby!
You're pretending.
There you see the shadow upon me.
Lord, save me.
I freeze. Abby, don't do that!
Mary Warren, do you witch her? I say, do you send your spirit
Go,
out?
Mr. Crocker. I cannot.
Heavenly Father, take away the shadow!
Whore, how dare you call about heaven?
What do you?
It is a whore!
Mr. Danforth, he's lying!
Archer, see, now she'll suck a scream to stab me.
You will prove this will not
I
pass.
have known her, sir. I have known her.
You are a lecher.
Aye, sir. She will deny it, but you'll believe me. A man will not cast away his good name. Surely you know this.
In what time? In what place?
In the proper place, where my beasts are bedded. She used to serve me in my house, sir. One may think God sleeps, but God sees everything. And my wife, my dear good wife, she took this girl soon after, sir, and she put her on the high road. Excellency, forgive me. For she thought to dance with me on my wife's grave, and well she might. For I thought of it softly, God help me, I mustn't. But it is vengeance, sir, and surely you must see it. My wife is innocent, except she know a whore when she see one.
Do you deny every scrap of this?
If I must answer that, sir, I will leave and I will not come back again.
She does not deny, Mr. Danforth. She does not deny.
You will remain where you are. Sit you down. Mr. Harris, the court and bring the white proctor out. Mr. Paris, and tell her not one word of what has been spoken. Your wife, you say, is an honest woman.
In her life, sir, she has never lied. There are them that cannot sing and them that cannot weep, but my wife can never lie.
Good then. Hold. No one in this room speak a word or raise a gesture. Enter. Listen, woman. You will look at me only, not at your husband, in my eyes only.
Good sir.
We are given to understand that at one point you dismissed your servant, Abigail Williams.
That is true, sir.
For what cause did you dismiss her? You will look at me only and not at your husband. Why have you dismissed Abigail Williams?
She dissatisfied me and my husband.
In what way dissatisfied you?
She worshiped.
Woman, look at me.
Your Honor, in that time, I was sick. My husband, he's a good and righteous man. He's never drunk at some art or wasting his time. He's always at his work. But in my sickness, you see, I was a long time sick after my last baby. I thought I saw him somewhat turning from me. Oh, and this girl!
Look at me.
Sir, Abigail Williams, I came to think he fancied her, so one night I lost my wits, I think. I set her out on the high road.
Your husband, did he indeed turn from you?
My husband is a goodly man, sir.
Look at me. To your own knowledge, has John Proctor ever committed the crime of lechery? Answer my question, is your husband a lecher?
No, sir.
Remove her.
Elizabeth, tell the truth, Elizabeth.
She has spoken.
Elizabeth,
Remove
please.
her.
I have confessed it.
Oh, John!
Not only to save my name.
Your Honor, it's a natural lie to tell. I beg you stop now before another's condemned.
Nothing of lechery, and this man lies.
Leave it! I cannot turn my face from it no more. This girl has always struck me false.
Be gone, I say!
What is it, child? Girls, why do you...
From the beam behind the rafter!
Where?
Why do you come, yellow bird?
What bird? I see no bird.
My face, but God made my face. You cannot want to tear my face. And he's a deadly sin, Mary. Abby! Oh, Mary, it's black art to change your shape. I cannot stop my mouth. It's God's work. Abby, I'm here! She's stretching out her claws.
Lies.
Oh, Mary, please don't come down. I'm not hurting her.
Why does she see this vision?
She sees nothing. She sees nothing. Abby, you mustn't. Abby, you mustn't. I'm here. I'm here.
Or and draw your spirit out of them.
Mr. Danforth.
You compacted with the devil, have you?
Never.
Why can they only repeat you?
Be a whip, I'll stop it.
They're sporting. Abby, stop it. Stop it.
A little while ago you were afflicted. It seems now you afflict others. Where do you find this power?
I have no power.
Remember goddamn Alzheimer's.
Mary Warren, confess yourself. You will confess or you will hang.
Remember the angel Raphael. Do what is good and...
The wings. Her wings are spreading. Oh no. Mary, please don't. Don't. Look out. She's going to come down.
Mary, tell the governor.
Don't touch me.
Mary, what?
You are the devil's man.
Praise God.
What?
When I'm angry, I love God. I love God.
He bid you do the devil's work?
He come up in my night and wake me every day to sigh.
The devil's book? He come with a book?
My name. You want my name. I'll murder you, he said with my witness. Let's go and overthrow the court, he said.
Mr. Hale.
He waked me every night, his eyes like holes and his fingers claw my neck and I sigh.
Your Honor, the child's gone wild.
I love God. I praise God. I bless God. Abby, I'll never hurt you no more.
No. What are you? You are combined with the Antichrist, are you not? I have seen your power, mister. You will not deny
This is
it.
not witchcraft. Those girls are frauds. You condemn an honest man.
I will have nothing from you, Mr. Hale. Do you confess yourself befouled with hell? Or do you keep that black alliance yet? What say you?
A fire! A fire is burning, and I hear the boot of Lucifer, and I see his filthy face. And it is my face, as it is all of yours. We will burn together.
Marshal, take him to the jail.
I denounce thee for saving his class over him, sir.
Hale.
No, Mr. Hale. True. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I have been and am. But why would you say I'm mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all else was the fact of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. It is impossible to say how the idea first entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. One of his eyes resembled that of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and was rid myself of his eye forever.
Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Mad men know no. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, and with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, at about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently. And then when I made an opening sufficient, I thrust in my head. I moved in slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. Then, when my head was well in the room, I turned on my flashlight cautiously. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. And I did this for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye.
Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than mine did. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. His room was as pitch as black within the thick darkness, and so I knew he could not see the opening of the door. I had my head in when my thumb slipped on the flashlight, and the old man sprang out of bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed, listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall.
Presently, I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh no, it was the low sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. I knew what the old man felt, and I pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise. When he had turned in the bed, his fears had been ever since growing upon him. When I had waited a long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to turn on the flashlight again stealthily, until, at length, a single dim ray, like the thread of the spider, shot upon the vulture eye. It was open, wide, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctiveness, all a dull blue with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. Now, I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier to courage.
And yet I refrained still. I scarcely breathed. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker, and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. And now, at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. The beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I leaped upon him. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I smothered him. I then smiled to find the deed so far done, but for many minutes the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. His eye would trouble me no more.
If you still think me mad, you will think no so longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily but in silence. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scatelings so cunningly that no human eye could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no blood spot whatsoever. A tub had cut all. When I had made at the end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the door. I opened it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? There entered 3 men who introduced themselves as police officers. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and the officers had been called to search the premises.
I smiled, for what had I to fear? I bade the gentleman welcome. The shriek, I said, was my own in a dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed. In the enthusiasm of my confidence, I brought chairs into the room and desired them to rest here from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of my perfect triumph, placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, I fancied a ringing in my ears. But they still sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued to gain definitiveness, until, at length, I found that the noise was not within my ears.
No doubt I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key with violent movements, but the noise steadily increased. I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited, but the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore. I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it upon the boards, but the noise arose over and all continually increased. It grew louder, and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, they heard. They knew, they suspected. They were making a mockery of my horror. But anything was better than this agony. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream.